In this video, I discuss the current state of dispersed camping in the Ocala National Forest. I dive into where dispersed camping is allowed and discuss recent changes that affect those that choose to camp in the Ocala National Forest. We share the best camping locations in the USA.
Hi guys, we hope you enjoy the video.
Check out our RV and camping related gear at our Amazon storefront. Link in video description. Let's start with some basic facts about the Ocala National Forest. The Ocala National Forest is located in central Florida and covers approximately 607 square miles. It is the southernmost national forest in the continental United States. It offers a range of recreational activities such as hiking, camping, fishing, and hunting, and is home to various wildlife, including the endangered Florida black bear. The forest contains numerous natural springs, which attract visitors for swimming, kayaking, and wildlife viewing. So a good place to start would be to first define dispersed camping. Folks, what you're looking at on your screen is the U.S. Forest Service website for the Ocala National Forest. And they have a whole page on dispersed camping. So first of all, what is dispersed camping? Dispersed camping is basically camping outside of a designated campground. There are multiple different forms of dispersed camping. Backpacking is a form of dispersed camping. You go hike in the woods and you select your spot, and there are certain rules that go along with pack it in, pack it out. If you have to go to the bathroom, you dig a hole and you bury your waste. There are different rules that go along with dispersed camping. You can also tent camp. You drive into the forest, you find a place, and you pitch a tent. And basically camp in close proximity to your motorized vehicle. And then there's camping in a motorized vehicle, which is very popular nowadays. Melody and I started RV camping almost 20 years ago. And it's our passion. Free and affordable RV camping is our passion. We know a lot about dispersed camping. And we have dispersed camped in our RV in many different national forests and Bureau of Land Management land, as well as state lands. And so the reason I'm making this video is there is a problem in the Ocala National Forest, and that's going to become very evident to you as I go down through some of the rules that they've established regarding dispersed camping in the National Forest. So looking at this, the rules here, if I just scroll down a little bit, basically the type of camping that Melody and I are interested in is motorized dispersed camping. This is where you find a campsite outside of a designated campground and you camp there in your RV. You observe all the rules, pack it in, pack it out. And they go through some of these rules right here. For instance, generally there's a 14-day per month limit on national forest in Florida. That's your stay limit. Establishing residency is against federal regulation. Pets are welcome in most areas of the forest, but you need to keep them on a leash. There are rules that go along with camping in the forest, dispersed camping. And they cover those rules on this page right here. But there are some things, very important things, that they've neglected to put in these rules, but they are in fact rules that you have to follow when you disperse camp in a vehicle in the National Forest, in the Ocala National Forest. I visited the Seminole District Ranger Station because some of these rules that they've established and what I could find online, there was a discrepancy between what I found was happening on the ground and what they've published here on their website. So under this particular page, under dispersed camping. If you read this entire page, it doesn't dive in to the camping in a motorized vehicle. And but they did give me information specifically addressing that in a handout. So let's go to that handout. I want to talk about that handout. So folks, this is the handout that the ranger gave me at the Seminole Ranger Station in the Ocala National Forest. And what I want to draw your attention to is under paragraph 4. It says dispersed camping is allowed anywhere within the forest. Hey, good news, right? Then it goes on to say you need to maintain 100 feet from your vehicle in a tent. What? Well, I can tell you, folks, I go a lot in my pickup truck, and I put my tent in there, and I get my son in the truck, and we go out, and we pitch a tent, and it's nowhere near 100 feet away because you're not going to lug your cots and all the stuff that your cooking equipment and all that. You're not going to be lugging it 100 feet into the woods. But that's exactly the rules that the ranger gave me. It says it right here. That is not on the website. It gets better. Let's move on. So the next thing I want to draw your attention to is paragraph 4. It says there is no boondocking on the Ocala National Forest, meaning you are not allowed to sleep within a hard-sided vehicle such as a car, a van, truck, or camper. If you plan to do this, you need to be within a designated camping area. Folks, none of that was on the dispersed camping page that's on their website. Not a lick. Okay, folks, so we're back on the National Forest website, Ocala National Forest, dispersed camping page. And if we scroll down, now what we're looking for, the handout told us that for dispersed camping, in a motorized vehicle, you're only allowed to camp in a designated camping area. So under dispersed camping, here are the dispersed camping areas. Let's scroll down to the Ocala National Forest. And I have reviewed each one of these. They're Alexander Springs Wilderness, the Billy Bay Wilderness, Davenport Landing, Juniper Prairie Wilderness, the Little Lake George Wilderness, and the St. Francis Trailhead. I reviewed each one of those designated dispersed camping areas, and they're all limited to a walk-in dispersed camping, with the exception of one, and that's Davenport Landing. So let's look at Davenport Landing. And if we scroll down here under Davenport Landing, it talks about primitive camping. It says 3 primitive sites, maximum 15 people total, 5 per campsite. 4-day stay limit. Primitive campsites can be used by individuals camping with tents or any motorized vehicle. These specific areas in the forest offer no facilities. While any motorized vehicle is permitted in these primitive campsites, not all areas are accessible by all types of vehicles. Sandy and narrow wood roads may make navigation difficult or impossible for some vehicles. And so let's jump over to Google Maps. And what you're looking at on your screen is I'm using Google Maps now, and in the red pen here is for Davenport Landing Trailhead. That's also where the dispersed camping area is. There is only 3 sites there, and it will only accommodate very small RVs. So that's it, folks. That is the extent of the motorized dispersed camping that is available in the Ocala National Forest. Let's not make this difficult, folks. There's over 600 square miles in the Ocala National Forest. Little old West Virginia, with its Monongahela National Forest, with hills that go up and down, have plenty of free dispersed motorized camping areas. That's right, in little old West Virginia, and many other national forests across the nation. This is the southernmost national forest. It's warm down here, especially in the winter, and you have all this flat land. The national forest is there for recreational purposes. That is the most use that the average citizen gets out of their national forest. That's what the forest is there for. And right now, changing times, more and more people want to camp in their RVs in the forest. Granted, there may be issues with people abusing dispersed camping and not following the rules. But the answer to that is not basically prohibiting dispersed camping with a motorized vehicle in the national forest. That is not the answer. That's the easy way out. What this forest should do is use enforcement. We're only talking a couple law enforcement officers, folks. It does not take, and I've seen other forests do this. If there is a problem with people overstaying, i.e. we read that there was a 14-day stay limit. In the one dispersed camping area, it's only 4 days. You can only spend 4 days. If somebody's overstaying, then you have a ranger that has that can write a ticket. They can write a federal summons, a citation. And if the person doesn't pay the fine, then they have to go to magistrate court. That's how it works, federal magistrate court. And if they don't show up for federal magistrate court, the court will issue a warrant for their arrest. And that's kind of how it works. It really ties, if you've never been to federal magistrate court, it really ties a knot in somebody's rear, especially if you have to get an attorney. It is not an inexpensive affair. A little bit of law enforcement, and the law enforcement doesn't always have to write tickets, but if you get somebody that is a repeat offender and they think they can just go from site to site and basically live in the forest, wrong answer. That's when the federal citation comes in. And that will tie a knot in the rear. They're either going to pay the fine or there's going to be a warrant issued for their arrest. So, and that applies for all the other reasons why the Ocala National Forest may want to ban, and basically that's what they're doing, banning motorized, dispersed camping in a motorized vehicle, i.e. an RV. There are other issues like people going out partying in the forest, right? Well, if you got a problem with people going out in a motor vehicle and partying in the forest and trashing it with beer cans, or just trashing it, period, there's a federal citation for that too. The ranger can write them up. It just takes a little bit of enforcement. You don't have to shut the forest down. In many states that I've been to, they don't want people going in with a motorized vehicle and ripping the forest up. So what do? They'll put a dispersed camping area in. So what is that? Well, this is not a campground. This is a dispersed camping area where there's a designated spot. And down here in Florida, you can make those spots big rig friendly. You could, very easily. Basically, all an RV camper needs is a place to park that RV. You're self-contained. When it comes time to dump your tanks, you run to one of the forest campgrounds. They have a number of them with dump stations and freshwater fills in the Ocala National Forest. And again, if somebody's dumping their black tank where they're not supposed to, there's a federal citation for that, folks. You just don't ban it. So what the Ocala National Forest really needs to do is they need to establish several, because that's a big forest, several motorized dispersed camping areas. And so we're talking a campsite maybe every 100 or 200 or 300 feet. You want to be far enough away where you're not going to be bothering other campers. They can run their generator if they want to, and not bother anybody. You're going to be out there basically camping by yourself, and you can cluster these like 20 or 30 dispersed campsites in one geographic area, spaced very far apart, 100, 200, 300 feet. And it would not take that. That's not a heavy lift. Folks, this is 2024. The Ocala National Forest needs to put in several large clusters of motorized dispersed camping so that people not only from Florida but from all around the country can come and enjoy the forest and the surrounding area. This is what our national forest is for. I can think of no better way to spend the little bit of taxpayer dollars they're going to spend to hire maybe 1 or 2 more federal law enforcement officers and to cut those camping spaces in several different clusters within the Ocala National Forest. So there you have it, folks. If you're planning on coming to the Ocala National Forest to disperse camp in a free campsite, you're going to be out of luck. They're going to want you to go to one of their designated campgrounds, their RV campgrounds, which are basically, most if not all of them, are run by concessionaires. You're going to have to pay a reservation fee on top of the camping fee, and it's not going to be dispersed camping out there without other people around you. You're going to have somebody to your right and somebody to your left in one of these designated National Forest campgrounds, again, run by concessionaire. They've commercialized. Folks, if you like this video, like and subscribe. If you do that, I will see you down the road. See ya.